Today I want to share something personal, something I think many of you can relate to. For almost 6 months I've been avoiding my hearing aids. But today I'm ready to take you through my journey and the reasons behind that decision. And quite frankly, some amazing changes I've experienced recently. As someone who advocates for tinnitus and talks about hearing health, it sounds a bit ironic to admit this. Here I am sharing tips and encouragement about hearing health, while my own hearing aids are sitting at the bedside table not being used. So why did I let it happen? I mean, it felt like I was stood at the edge of a cliff, afraid to jump. I told myself I was fine until I realised I wasn't. I was living in a fog, afraid to enjoy life, and I was just stood still, missing out on so much of my life, my friends, my family. Wearing hearing aids can feel like putting on a spotlight above your head, bright neon saying, "Hi, I need help." At first, it's obvious you're going to feel overwhelmed, and that's exactly how I felt. All of these little sounds that I could hear, it was just taking over my whole life. I didn't think I could manage just wearing these for the rest of my life. Everyday noises felt strange, and I don't know if any of you get this, but when you go to Primark and you're just walking around for ages trying to find what you're looking for and everything just starts getting overwhelming, that's what it felt like 24/7 for me. Even just standing in an echoey room like this was so much for me to handle, and I'd never heard like my own echo, I'd never heard my own footsteps. It just felt surreal. And if I'm honest, I panicked a little. Actually, not a little, a lot. I panicked a lot in everyday situations. I thought to myself, wearing these hearing aids, is it actually improving my quality of life right now, or is it stopping me from improving? The vanity in me was like, would people notice? Would people think that I'm incapable? Would people point it out and mention it in a conversation? Well, can you see them right now? Absolutely not. Not if I point them out. It doesn't even look like anything's there. Hearing aids have came such a long way, and the technology is constantly improving. But these feelings, they held me back. I became a ghost in my own life, nodding my head whilst my life would just pass me by. I'd sit in my own tinnitus bubble, just drifting away, you know, like people would be talking to me and I would not be taking anything in. It wasn't just wearing these hearing aids where I felt like that, but it's also my tinnitus too. I felt trapped in my own silence. So what did I do? I put them down for 6 months and I didn't pick them up until last Monday. It's now Saturday and I've been wearing my hearing aids for almost a week, consistently. I'll put them on at 9 o'clock in the morning, go to work, not take them off, get home, take them off, and then relax, you know? As soon as I gave them a chance and didn't take them out when I felt overwhelmed, I've started to realise something quite extraordinary. The benefits are outweighing the negatives, okay? As you know, I've recently started a job as hearing care assistant, and I'm sat watching Stephen, the audiologist, the master at work, talking to other patients that are dealing with their hearing aids. And he's saying something that's been very, very eye-opening for me, and something that's really made me want to wear my hearing aids more and not stop wearing them. If we have tinnitus, or if hearing loss comes along with it, our brains, they get lazy. When your brain lacks cochlear stimulation, meaning it's not getting enough sound input, it starts listening inwards. And that is what your tinnitus is. It's your body working. And don't get me wrong, there are so many different theories on tinnitus, but this one seems the most likely, in my opinion. What our brains are doing are basically creating a sound that isn't there because it knows that something is wrong, and it's trying to listen for something to fill in those gaps. It's as if your brain is searching for something to focus on. And it just ends up amplifying those internal sounds, like your blood rushing through your body. Your body is noisy, okay? And when you're in the womb, your hearing is, you know, it's working. Our brains learn to tune out exactly what we need to listen to and what we don't, even before we're born. For example, as you're looking at me right now, you're not noticing your nose. But if I tell you to notice your nose, you can probably see it. And now you can't stop looking at it. And that's what our tinnitus is like. Once our brains actually focus inwards, it's pretty hard for them to stop, and I've had it my whole life, so I'm not really going to think, okay, tomorrow I'm going to wake up and my brain's not going to stop focusing. It's because it's perceived as a threat, and that's normal. So let's go back to when we were cavemen. We would be hunting, looking for some food, and then a tiger would just walk by and we would run. Our brains are programmed to look for threats constantly. And when it hears something rustling, obviously you're going to look, you're going to be like, what's that? And that's exactly why it's focusing on our tinnitus. And that's exactly why your thoughts are normal when you're feeling stressed about that noise. But now I'm wearing my hearing aid, my brain is getting all of that external stimulation. There's not one part of my cochlea that's not actually getting a vibration now because it's all been amplified. For reference, this is my audiogram. This is what it looks like. I'm lacking the mid ranges. So eventually, if I don't put my hearing aids in, my brain is going to get lazier and lazier and lazier to the point where this dip is going to dip more, more and more. And we don't want that happening at all. So that's why I've got them in. But since wearing my hearing aids for just a week non-stop, I can never ever see myself going back. Because when I take out my hearing aids, it feels like cotton wool has been put in my ears. These are my hearing aids, by the way. These are the Starkey hearing aids. They're very small, match the colour of my hair, so you cannot see them at all. And that was one of the most reassuring things, having them in for a week and no one pointing them out. But as a hearing care assistant and working on reception, it's such a nice conversation starter because there's a lot of people that have the thought where they don't want people to look at them and think they're incapable, but no one's going to notice. It's an aid to your hearing and it's there to help you at the end of the day. But after wearing them for a large amount of time, even a short in my case, you're going to realise that the positives outweigh the negatives, to the point where you don't even think there's any negatives at all. One thing that's absolutely insane is that I'm stood here in my kitchen, quiet environment, and my tinnitus isn't as loud as it usually is. But after what I've said, doesn't it make sense? Our brain is not looking for that extra source of stimulation because the external noise is actually doing that for me. My tinnitus is still there, don't get me wrong, especially when I take out my hearing aids and go to sleep, it is still there. So don't feel like you've got to get hearing aids to cure your tinnitus because that's not going to happen. And that's exactly what I thought would happen when I first got hearing aids, when I bought them online. Don't do that. I thought they were going to cure me. And can I please just emphasise, if you're thinking of getting hearing aids, do not buy them online. Don't do what I did because first of all, it's illegal for them to be doing that and they need your prescription and hearing aids need to be programmed to your loss. To put it simply, hearing aids are only as good as your audiologist is. If your audiologist doesn't know what they're doing and they can't program them right, they're not going to work best for you. But if your audiologist is sitting there for an hour and a half trying to program them, they're going to work to your prescription and excel your needs. On average, people with hearing loss wait 5 to 7 years before they actually do anything about it. That's a huge amount of time to miss conversations, laughter, experience new things, hear beautiful sounds, the joy of the world. Imagine all of those things that we simply let slip away because we cannot hear them, or we decide not to partake in things. But why do people wait so long? It's because we're afraid, uncertain, and simply scared of the unknown. Is it going to be too much to get used to? As with anything challenging, it's going to be hard before it gets better. If I could talk to myself when I first got my hearing aids from Stephen, what I would say is it's not just about hearing better, it's about living better, living fully. So if you're like me, let this be your wake-up call. Life is simply too short to be held back. And looking ahead, I know that I'm going to face challenges with my hearing aids. Yes, this whole week has run smoothly and I can't imagine my life without them now. But for instance, I have a meeting coming up and I don't want external noise to put me off having a conversation. I'm a little bit anxious, but I know it's going to be fine. But it's okay to have these anxieties because you've got to experience things for your brain to get used to it and to acclimatise to these new sounds. As long as you're determined to be present in conversations and fully listen whilst wearing your hearing aids, it's going to be fine. You are in control at the end of the day. It's not your hearing aid, it's you. It's about how much effort you put into it. If you're going to get your hearing aids and put them on the side, is it even worth having them? Your hearing aids are only as good as your audiologist, but they're also only as good as how much you put the effort into it. If you're going to buy them and put them on the side, there's no point having them. After a week of wearing them, what I've learned that every step forward is a victory. Even on tough days, I remind myself that the struggle is worth it, and each challenge with them is helping me go stronger and more resilient to these sounds that I've not been hearing my whole life. I want you to embrace your journey with tinnitus and hearing loss, whatever stage you're at, because you're never going to be at this stage again. Bad days help you improve, and positive days are proof that you are improving. We all have our own battles with tinnitus and hearing loss, or whatever is going on in your life, and having you here and sharing your experience in the comments just means so much to not only me, but to everyone on this channel. And that's something that I also want to say as a hearing care assistant, and having people walk through the door and come into me at reception with their struggles, you know, getting ready to go and see Stephen. It's been not only comforting for them to know that I have tinnitus and hearing loss, but comforting for me to be able to share that reassurance that everything is going to be okay. The first time I tried these hearing aids, there were moments where I wanted to rip them out, and I did. I ripped them out, put them down, didn't pick them up for another 2 weeks. I then retreat to silence and the sound of my tinnitus, and then I put them back in and realised, yeah, they're actually worth it, but then I put them back down again because I can't be bothered to get used to them. But this week I've not done that. I've been very resilient and I've noticed a massive improvement. And these moments are what make it worthwhile. The biggest moment that I think has made it worthwhile, or, you know, as a whole, is just talking to people when people come through the door. And I talk to them and I can hear every single word. I'm not just nodding and acting like I know what they've said and smiling or thinking, oh, did I say the right answer? Probably not. I'm actually enjoying conversations and I'm actually getting stuck into them. I want to learn more about these people because I can hear. I'm not struggling. It's not like my brain is on 100% effort. I'm on 1% effort to listen at the moment. I'm not using my first ever hearing aids, which are my eyes, you know? I'm not lip reading all the time. I'm just using my ears. And that has been the most rewarding thing, and I think something that a lot of people without hearing loss take for granted. And that's how it should be. I want to hear your stories too. If you've got hearing aids, if you're on a journey with tinnitus or hearing loss, let me know your journey, let me know what stage you're at and the struggles that you may have faced, and the wins as well. It's all about the wins. But the reason why I wanted to make this video is that if you're on your journey with tinnitus and getting to habituation or learning to live with hearing aids, you've got to have down days and times where you put things down, take your hearing aids out and just feel sorry for yourself, because if you don't have these moments, you're not really going to move forward. And I mean, for some people it's different. For some people, they might put their hearing aids in and you're on your way. But for me, and I think for a lot of people, it's a very hard adjustment to get used to. But I just want to say it's worth it, because I don't know if you can tell just in me and how I'm talking right now, I'm feeling extremely positive and I'm just grateful that I can hear, you know? I'm grateful that I can go upstairs and I can hear the dog barking and just, you know, little things like that. Things that I've never heard before. Like I can hear my dog squeaking right now because I shut him up because he's tip-tapping on the floor. I've never heard these sounds before, and I'm glad that I'm not missing out. No matter if they're annoying, you know, that's what I've been missing, and I'm very happy. So if you're on the journey with hearing aids, give them a chance. Yes, it's going to be annoying at first, and if you've got tinnitus and are intrigued by hearing aids, book yourself in with an audiologist just to get a consultation and see how they can help you. And you might even find that you have hearing loss. I mean, I spent my whole life going about my day thinking tinnitus was normal until I realised it wasn't. I got checked out and then I realised I had cookie bite hearing loss, and that was after 22 years. Like, never even knew it. But knowing more helps you more. The more you know about tinnitus, the more you know about your situation, the better you're going to feel and the more accepting you're going to feel to move on in your life. Tinnitus won't hold you back. Hearing loss won't hold you back, and there are ways to manage. No matter what your GP has said to you in the past, no matter what other people have said to you online saying there's no hope for you. Yeah, it's all doom and gloom from here with tinnitus. It's not. because whatever you're feeling right now is completely normal, and you've just got to realise you have got what it takes already, despite not having hearing aids or anything like that. You've got what it takes to habituate and get used to this noise, or, you know, the hearing loss that you've got. It won't affect your life forever, and you will be happy. Your brain is programmed to feel like this, okay? Your brain is programmed to perceive these little things as threats, to make you feel like, oh God, am I going to die because of this? Is it going to ruin my life forever? No, it's not. And I'm here to tell you that because I've been there. Thanks for being here, and I hope to see you again soon on my channel. I share lots of tips about tinnitus, and I'm going to be sharing more about my hearing aid journey. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.